Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jays Fit Down podcast. I'm your host Jay, and of course, I'm here with Nick Winkler. Glad to have him back on the show. And Nick, we have a lot to discuss. NFL free agency is kicked off, and it's been really crazy. So let's get into it, man. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. The tampering period is one of my favorite times of the year because you just it's like it's overflowing with news, right? It's just like you get deal here, deal there, and it's just like I can't process all of it. So it's like, it takes a couple days for me to kind of really think about everything that's gone on because there's been a lot of crazy moves, a lot of big moves. And I honestly like most of the moves. Like, I think for most teams, they're making the thing that they need, right? The thing that's going to push them in that next direction. Your Falcons, too, they made a good move. The Niners have made good moves. Like, the Dolphins, let's get into it.
Yeah, so the first big thing I want to talk about, and this kind of kicked it off, was the Bears trading their number one overall pick to the Carolina Panthers for DJ Moore and a bunch of other draft capital. What are your thoughts on that move here real quick?
I thought it was a great move. I mean, if they're happy with Justin Fields, and why wouldn't you be, you're not going to take a quarterback, right? 9 seems like a bit low to drop, but you get DJ Moore back, right? Like, he could be a stud. He could easily be a number one in this league, and then you get a nice haul of picks. Like, I think it was a good move by the Bears. It seemed a little early. Maybe the Panthers were like, look, we're going to pull this if you don't do it soon. And the Bears were just tired of shopping it. And they're like, this is a good deal. It's not an amazing, 3 first-round picks, knock your socks off kind of deal. But it's a good deal for the Bears. I think it pushes them, like I said, in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. You get, like you said, the number one receiver in DJ Moore back to help out Justin Fields, because if you look at the receiving cores, production-wise, it was pretty much Darnell Mooney, and that was it. So you need a receiver to complement him, and he gets that with Moore. And then, of course, like you said, the draft capital. So you're able to, add to the other positions of need for your team. So I like the move. And for the Panthers, well, you get the number one pick. So
yeah, go get it. Go get your right quarterback. I mean, this is make or break, right, for a GM. This is, I'm either going to pick the guy that's going to be here for the next 5 to 10 years, or, even 4 years of really great play, or I'm going to be gone in 2 years because I picked the wrong guy. Right? I mean, that's kind of what you're doing as a GM when you're sitting with that number one overall pick and you have a team that doesn't have a franchise quarterback. Like, you got to hit with it. You got to make sure this is the right guy. And Panthers fans are out there right now thinking they must know who they want. Like, they must know which guy they want to go after, and hopefully he picks right.
Yeah, it would seem that way, considering, giving up what you did for that number one pick. It means, you must have a guy already in mind who you want. So,
well, it's a good move for them, too, because DJ Moore didn't really live up to his potential last year. 2 years ago, he had a pretty good year, and he was kind of on the verge of being that breakout of wow, he could be a superstar in this league. And then took a huge step back last year, and I'm sure that was the revolving door of quarterbacks. And then when you lose Christian McCaffrey, he becomes the ultimate focal point of the defense. So, yeah, I think it's a good move for both teams. I think it's exactly what both teams needed.
Yeah, I agree. So, moving on into the tampering period itself, so many crazy moves, man.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I want to get your thoughts on Javon Hargrave signing a 4-year, $84 million deal with the San Francisco 49ers, dude. I mean, that's crazy.
That, to me, is the biggest signing so far, but I'm a 49er fan, obviously. But to me, it's like they had the number one defense last year, and they just made it so much better. He is such an upgrade from what they had in the middle of that defensive line. Already a great defensive line. You got great ends, you got great outside linebackers, you even had some pretty good tackles in there. But now you're bringing in one of the best tackles, if not the best tackle in the league. Oh, man. Nick Bosa, he's defensive player of the year. And now you're going to have to worry about Hargrave, which is going to open him up even more. You got Armstead, who can actually pump out a little bit more and play a little bit better, more his role, which is not that tackle. It's more of defensive end. I love the move for the 49ers, and yeah, bravo. Hats off.
Yes, great move. And now having Steve Wilks, I'm sure it's just jumping up and down like a kid on Christmas morning.
Yeah, they're like, hey, Wilks, welcome. We gave you the number one defense. Oh, here's a brand new toy that you can plug right into the middle of it. Have fun.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that was a great move. I liked it for San Francisco. I wish my Falcons could have got him, but
Yeah. I bet there's 30 teams out there right now that are
yes,
wishing they got him.
yes. We made some good moves too. We'll get to in a second, but Jalen Ramsey also traded to the Dolphins. Big move for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I like it. I think that they're going for it, right? I mean, you got a young coach who comes in, has a great first year, looked amazing. If Tua had stayed healthy, things would probably look a whole lot different with how the AFC wrapped up. I truly believe that because they were rolling. I mean, that was an amazing offense. And now you bring in a leader on defense. And last year wasn't his best year ever, but he's still one of the best defensive backs in the league. And you gotta want that on your football team, right?
Yeah, you do. Now considering what the Dolphins had to give up to get him, that was
Good move by the Rams.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, they must truly believe, right? That's what they needed. That's what was really the thing holding them up in the back. And bravo. Yeah, you gave up some picks. If you're Miami, but if you're the Rams, it's a beautiful move. It's one of those moves that really can reset your franchise, which is what they need to do right now. They need to reset everything. They need to make sure that they're winning their Super Bowl. All right, that's in the past now, right? Now it's time to go ahead and restock. Cooper Kupp's going to be the only guy still around, and who knows? They might even get a big haul for him. I doubt it. He's generational talent, but who's going to be their quarterback? Rams. I love what's happening in the NFC West as a 49er fan. It's like, Rams, haha. You're at least a couple years away from getting good. Cardinals hit the reset button as well. Seattle, good move. Will it pay off? You brought in a big coach. You gave Geno this big money. I don't know. I don't know. I like it.
Yes.
Do you like the Geno move? What do you think about that?
Look, he played phenomenally well last year for Seattle. He played great, and he just, I think it was a good move. Because you get your franchise guy. I don't think they.
Yeah.
Drew Lock. Yeah, it was a good move to bring him back. I think you need to bring him back there, and he played well. The city loved him, the fans loved him. The teammates, from what I hear, they really like playing with him, and that's important for, So yeah.
Plus, it gives you a chance to draft a young quarterback, in this year's draft, and let him sit for a year or even two, and let Geno Smith do his thing. And you hope that Geno lives up to that contract, but they're probably in the back of their minds be like, okay, it was 1 year, we are going to pay him. It's pretty cap friendly deal that they did with him as well, because they're not dumb. Everybody knew what that was, and it's a prove it big deal. And he might prove it. He might not. It might be 1 year and then he's out, and whatever rookie they take in this year's draft is starting in 2 seasons from now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Now, one thing I did notice within that Rams trade with the Dolphins, that they also signed Mike White. The former legend, Mike White. So
Mike F. White.
I think that's interesting because got Skylar Thompson, of course, on the contract, and Tua, they picked up his option. So but also keeping in the back of their minds, like, he has some injury issues.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Again, good move. Anytime Mike White's played in the NFL, he's done well, right? So he's the kind of guy you want as a backup. And if you're Miami, based on last year, you're going to need a backup or two, which is why the 49ers went out and got Sam Darnold. I think that's a low risk, high possible reward signing for the 49ers. And for Miami as well. The Mike White thing could be huge. If Tua has one more concussion, is his career over? You got to ask yourself that, right? Is he one hit away? Obviously everybody's one hit away from it being over, but some guys are a little bit more susceptible to it than others. And what Tua just went through last year is scary. Yeah. You don't want to start messing with that for too long, and so they got a little bit of insurance there. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in someone else as well there in Miami, because as the 49ers and many other teams this last year showed you need 3 quarterbacks. You need at least one guy that's there in an emergency, that could be a veteran that can kind of hold everything together, because the Niners thought they had that in Josh Johnson, and they did not. And that was proved very quickly in the championship game.
Yeah, extremely. So good insurance move right there for the Dolphins. And then we got some other, signings here. Raiders getting Garoppolo, your former boy there. San Francisco.
Called that one. What's up?
Then you called it. You called it.
Oh, yeah. I was like, watch, he's going to end up in Oakland. He's going to be a Raider. They're going to love him. And to me, I think it's a good move by Las Vegas. I'm calling Oakland.
Yeah, right.
I think it's a good move by them. I mean, he's not that different from Derek Carr. He's got a better win percentage, but that wins have a lot to do with the team that you're on. Of course, their stats are very similar when you compare Carr and Garoppolo, and it's a lot less money for the Raiders as well to go get a guy like Garoppolo. You hope that it's not the Jimmy that keeps getting hurt, right? I mean, he's had full seasons, and when he does, he leads teams to Super Bowls. So that's what he does. So, but when he doesn't, the teams definitely struggle with backups. And Derek Carr was very durable for something that you can kind of hang on. Derek Carr is like, he's a solid quarterback, and he plays every game, which is what you need in a franchise quarterback. So for the Saints, I like that move for the Saints too. I love the quarterback carousel that's going on right now. It's going to lead to a really fun season.
Yes, and we also are still awaiting one piece of the puzzle to fall, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, they signed him to a $67.5 million deal, 3 years. And they also bring in Jacoby Myers, the former Patriot, hooking up with Josh. I see a theme running here.
Yeah.
So, did you like the Myers signing?
I mean, you need somebody else, right? I mean, you got Devontae Adams. And maybe you've got Waller. Can he stay healthy? And then who's the number two there? It's kind of, there's not really that defined number two. They got a couple of okay receivers, again, that can't stay healthy. So you bring in Myers, now you got a legit number two, and you got a bunch of guys that can, vie for a number three spot in an offense that likes to open it up. And then you got, Josh Jacobs. I think they franchise tagged him, right, which is a good move as well. Maybe you can work out a long-term deal there with him and keep him around for a while, or you just go one more year of, to be honest, last year was probably the best, if not one of the best running backs in the NFL. I was about to say the best, and I'm like, well, Christian McCaffrey's really good and had a really good year. So I had to draw back on that one, as a 49er guy.
You're right, yeah. And so now, you mentioned Darren Waller. He actually got traded to the Giants today.
What?
Yes.
Oh, what? I missed that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just found that
out.
That's
a good move by the Giants.
Yeah, that's huge.
What'd they trade him for, did they say?
I think it was like a third-round pick.
That's a great move for the Giants. Well, I mean, again, Waller's got some injury history, so you can see why the Raiders were probably like, all right, you do a bunch of money, let's just get him out of here, start fresh. Wow, okay. That really switches things up. The Giants are going all in. I'm liking that, too.
Yeah, it's a good move. I mean, when Waller is healthy, he is a very, very good tight end.
They re-signed Shepard too. Is that what I saw? The Giants. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I like what the Giants are doing. I mean, you make the playoffs. Why not? Spend a little bit of money, give up a little draft capital, bring in some guys that can make your team better. I don't love the contract, for their quarterback, but I don't want to get too much into that. They like him. He's their guy. You just give him whatever money you think he's worth.
Yes. So hopefully, but I, for the Giants' sake and for Daniel Jones' sake as well, I do want to see him continue to improve, and he did
100%
improve last year. He did.
Yeah, he did.
So
he led his team to the playoffs. That's great.
Yeah, hopefully he will continue to do so. But yeah, man, just a lot of great moves. And even my Falcons made some moves surprisingly. When I saw what they did, I was like, oh, this can't be right.
Spending money? What is this? No, we usually trade away dead money. What are you talking about?
Right. So they signed former Bengals safety Jesse Bates to a 4-year, $64 million deal. Also brought in, they also brought in David Onyemata from the Saints, defensive tackle, for a big contract. So what are your thoughts on the Falcons moves right there, Nick?
Smart. I think that they really are shoring up their defense, and defense wins championships. Defense wins games. Defense wins divisions. Defense is where good teams invest a lot of money and move forward. I mean, obviously there's some other teams that are just like, we'll just blow you out of the water with points, but I don't think Atlanta's got that right now, right? They're still kind of looking for that quarterback situation. We're probably going to see one in the draft would be my assumption. Or maybe they're really smitten with Ritter. Maybe they really think this is our guy. Let's go forward with him. And hey, who am I to say that he's not? But no, I think that that it's been great moves so far for Atlanta. The South is there to be won, so that was a good way to start towards that for Atlanta.
Yes, and you mentioned that quarterback situation, which is something to keep an eye on. And they also signed Taylor Heineke to a deal today, 2 years, $20 million to bring him in to back up. Well, maybe,
will it be to back up?
I assume open competition if you're paying that kind of money. So I assume those two are going to compete, and that's going to be a good competition there for.
I agree. It's an upgrade from Marcus Mariota, in my opinion.
Tremendously.
Heineke. I like Taylor Heineke. He's not the best quarterback, but he's a leader of men, and sometimes you need that at quarterback, especially if you have a good defense and you can run the ball really well. Then you need a guy that's just not going to blow it for you, and that to me is Taylor Heineke. He also has led a team to the playoffs, so he's. I like that signing. I'm into it, but I still wouldn't be surprised if they go after a quarterback. Maybe not in the first round. Maybe they do it a little bit later in the draft, but bring in another guy that's like, hey, this is, like you said, open competition. Come on in, try to get it.
Yeah. And this quarterback draft class is really deep and really good. So
it is.
You never know. I mean, you got a lot of guys who I think could go to a lot of different teams here. So, but yeah, it's been a really crazy free agency so far, Nick. I mean, and the Texans have also made a couple moves, bringing in Jimmy Ward, which we both predicted that he would go to following D'Amico Ryans there. You think that's a good move for the Texans?
Of course. Jimmy Ward's a fantastic football player. I'm sad to see him go from the 49ers. The guy played safety. He played cornerback. He played nickel. He even played some linebacker for the 49ers when they needed it, when they were down a few guys. So he's a stud. He's a utility knife. The Houston fans will fall in love with Jimmy Ward very quickly.
Yes, they will. Great guy, great leader, veteran in this league, and you need that, especially on a young team like the Texans. New head coach, and just guys that have been there, done that. And that's very valuable to those type of teams. So
for sure,
I like that. I mean, even Emmanuel Mosley going to the Lions too. So you lose another Niner there.
I know, and they reworked Charvarius Ward's deal today too. So I think they're going to probably try to bring in. Another cornerback. Maybe not a high-priced guy. They like what Lenore did. For them, especially the second half of the season. He started off a little bit rough, but he figured it out. And so I think they know they've got a solid number two there, and maybe they need to go after a nickel cornerback, or maybe they're hoping Ambry Thomas could fill that role, or Womack. Or they've got some depth there at cornerback right now. So the Mosley thing made sense. He when he's healthy, he's great. A lot like Jimmy Garoppolo. So. It's not the end of the world when you see a guy like that go. You just wish him well.
Yes, absolutely. And to, I guess, the overall broad thing of this whole free agency, just like the giant overlooking everything, what is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers?
It's got to be to the Jets, right? I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, is he going to go to Houston? No, he's not going to go to Houston. The only thing that really, truly makes sense to me is either ends up back in Green Bay or he's a New York Jet. I just can't see him go anywhere else.
I can't either. I mean, he already, put out a wish list apparently for the Jets to get, I want this guy, I need him,
go get these receivers, I need some guys, and we'll go get it.
Yeah.
I think the Jets should. I think they should give up a little capital, give up a little bit of their future to get Aaron Rodgers, because who knows, you could have 2-3 good years of Aaron Rodgers still, and if he can get you to the playoffs and lead you somewhere, maybe even deep into the playoffs, I think you got to do it. I mean, the AFC's tough right now. So if the Jets really want to compete, you're going up against Mahomes and Burrow and Allen and a healthy Tua. And, it is a deep conference right now when it comes to great quarterbacks. If you can get Aaron Rodgers, you go get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you do. No question. I mean, why not? The guy is a perennial Hall of Famer. He has his little quirks and everything, but everybody does. But
as a man, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but as a football player, I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. He's 1 year removed from an MVP. This is a good deal for them.
Right. And even
it depends what they give up, right? I mean, I'm saying it's a good deal for them. If they're asking for a couple of first round picks, it's like, well, how long are we going to have him? What is, a playoff run worth? And you got to weigh all that. You got to really be concerned about that, because you just gave up a number 2 overall pick in Zach Wilson, essentially, if you bring him in, right? Or maybe you hope not only are we investing in Aaron Rodgers now, but we're investing in Zach Wilson in the future because he can learn behind Rodgers, who may only be here for another year or two. And now Wilson has had time to groom behind one of the greats, right?
Yeah. So you think they should keep Zach Wilson around?
I mean, are you throwing good money at bad money? Like, I don't know. That's a tough call for me. I mean, he's not. You got him locked up to a rookie deal. And yeah, it's a big rookie deal because he's the number 2 overall pick. But if someone wants to give you something for him, then maybe. But I just don't think anybody's willing to give up anything of any value for him right now. Like he's just not worth what you would bring back, I think.
Yeah, I don't think so either. You know, he needs to do a little bit more maturing and growing up. And I think learning behind, like you said, one of the greats would be a great thing to do. That would be a smart person to learn from, you know. So
yeah,
Robert Saleh, great head coach, and the defense is good. They got studs on the defense. Offensively, Breece Hall. I mean, the Jets have a great team. And they just need a quarterback. If they get him,
you get a quarterback, you could go to that next level pretty easily. So I wouldn't be surprised if they gave up a little bit more than they want in order to bring in Rodgers, because it just makes sense.
Yes. So looking forward to seeing what happens with that. I mean, all signs are kind of pointing to that. So unless he just pulls out, you know, the chair from everybody, says, I'm going back to the Packers. I mean, he might do that too, but I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, because you got to remember, Nathaniel Hackett is the offensive coordinator with the Jets. He used to work with Flowers in Green Bay. So
had the MVP season with him as his offensive coordinator. So yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be shocked if he went anywhere but Green Bay or to the New York Jets. I really would be.
Yeah, I mean, those are the only 2 teams really, because the Raiders already got their guy, Garoppolo.
They got their guy, yeah. And I don't think he's going to go. I don't think they're going to trade him to any NFC team. So I don't really see a whole lot else in the AFC. It's open.
It's very open. It's scary. It's scary. I mean, you know, I guess everybody's trying to load up so they can take down the Chiefs and the Bengals and the Bills. So, you know, it's going to be interesting there. Still a lot of good guys out there who we're not even. I mean, I still got Odell out there, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, among others, James Bradbury. So some of these guys that I mentioned here, you know, where do you see them possibly heading soon?
It's a tough call. You know, I didn't see a lot of these signings. I didn't see the McGlinchey to Denver signing for $85 million. Like, that's, you know, a lot of these really surprised me. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I get it, but that's a lot of money to give Mike McGlinchey. As a 49er fan, you know, we wanted to keep him around, but not for the money we knew he was going to be able to get. He's a right tackle. He's not the best right tackle in the world, not very good at run blocking. He's a great pass blocker, which is, you know, one of the big problems for Russell Wilson last year was that he didn't have a whole lot of time to throw.
Yeah.
So I see why they would spend a bunch of money and invest in the offensive line. But some of these guys that are still out there, I mean, Beckham, is he going to, you know, get the kind of money that he wants right now? Or is it going to be another thing where he's just like, I'm going to sit back, wait for a team to maybe lose their number 1 in OTAs or early in practice, and then, you know, go hop in? It's a tough call for him. You know, if he's not landing in a spot where he only wants to win, he's not going to go to a team that's really bad unless they just throw a truckload of money at him. And I respect a money grab. Like, go get it. You know, get yours. I would do the same. But if he just wants to win, that's tough. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of teams that have a whole lot of money right now. I mean, I know Chicago Bears do. If you put him with DJ Moore, like, that would be something else.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did, I think that'd be the perfect landing spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, you got teams. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of names that I do keep hearing, like the Cowboys for one. We heard a little bit about that last year, but it never really came into fruition. You know, it didn't happen. So, but
yeah,
it's, you know, Odell. I do expect him to be on a roster by the time training camp opens up. I really do. That I most definitely believe. So.
All reports is that he looked great at his workout. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes. So far, man, out of seeing all these signings that have been made, what team do you think made like the best move or moves so far that we've seen?
Other than my 49ers? Because obviously I love the moves that the 49ers made. It's great. And if they weren't good moves, I'd be the first to tell you that. But these were great moves for them so far. And I think it's the Bears. I really do. I think that they have that number 1 pick. They weren't going to take a quarterback, so they turned it into a number 1 wide receiver. and some great picks. What is it, a first and 2 seconds? Like that's solid. Like that to me is a great start for the Bears so far. So far, I'd say the Niners and the Bears are probably doing the best so far this offseason.
Yeah, I agree. I'll put the Niners and the Bears definitely up there. The Bears also got Tremaine Edmonds over from the Bills, signed him to a 4-year, $72 million deal.
Yeah, but they had it. They were the number one team with the most cap space, so why not spend it, right? And they still got a bunch left, so don't be surprised they make a few more big moves.
Yeah, and that's a huge move for that defense too. A guy like Edmonds, physical, fast linebacker, and Buffalo.
And San Diego right now is looking to trade Austin Eckler, right? So the Bears just got a bunch of draft capital. Don't be surprised you see something there. Eckler ends up on Chicago Bears. Just saying. I'm gonna start projecting everyone to the Chicago Bears. Like, they're gonna go sign everybody. That way I can be like, see, I guessed it right.
Yes, the Bears. Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised with that move because Montgomery's most likely going to leave. So you need that RB1, and Eckler is proving that he can be a very great back in this league. Catching out the backfield, he can run in between the tackles for his size. He's a physical back, which is really good. So, and you pair that with Justin Fields, who can also run the ball.
Watch out, unstoppable.
Yeah, so great NFL free agency so far. I'll also put my Falcons up there. I think they made some great moves. I think they added to the defense. They also traded for John Smith from the Patriots, which he had the most productive of seasons there. But then again, look at the offensive discombobulation.
Yeah. No, this is another solid move. Falcons are going in the right direction, so good for them.
Yeah, but it was great, man. And so we will continue to monitor every move that's been made and will be made. So it's going to be interesting to see what else happens. Like I said, a whole bunch of other guys that have not even been signed yet. So we will see what happens. But Nick, thank you for joining us to talk about that today on the podcast, man.
You bet. My pleasure, Jake.
Of course. We will see you next time, all right?
All right. See ya.
Yes, sir.